Hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to Tales of Agartha, the solo MMO project I have been developing. I figured it's finally time to put a face to the project. My name is John. I am the owner and founder of Once Upon a Wizard Publishing and the Tales of Agartha series. We have a video game series that I've been working on for the last few months called Tales of Agartha. It is an open world MMO fantasy genre style game in the vein of Tolkien-esque lore with my own twist and a little bit of mix with human mythology and human legends of the past, stuff that we don't quite have answers to, but I'm going to try to spin it into our ancient world spun with fantasy. So you take the pyramids of Egypt and the seven wonders of the world, the Atlantis, the lost civilizations, the Agartha, the ancient civilization, Mu, Lemuria, and Hyperion, and all of these lore about the world, and try to spin it into a fantasy realm. So what is Tales of Agartha? Well, Tales of Agartha is a fantasy world set before the human ice age that we now know happened 10 to 12,000 years ago. This is a ancient civilization that predates the ice age. The ice age obviously wiped them out from the face of the history books, and so we're left with all these questions, but I aim to recreate that history into a fantasy. There is no right or wrong answer, so there's a lot of freedom in designing something like that. Agartha, Atlantis, they are some of the most published topics in the world. I believe Atlantis has more books about it than any other subject in human history. It's something deep in our soul that we just know was once real and we lost it. And so I have always been inspired by ancient cultures. I have traveled all over the world. I've seen pyramids in Belize and Honduras and Mexico and Angkor Wat in Cambodia and South Korea, and I've been all these places, and I've always loved ancient cultures. And so I'm mixing my passion of game development with ancient cultures, and here we are. Tales of Agartha was born, and we're going to be building this story out and this game together. Big update. Figured I'd just go live and send it tonight. Go live. It's Friday night. Kids are in bed. Got my favorite beverage, old fashioned, and we're going to have a good time. Just an open discussion. Got a few topics to cover tonight. It's a new feature preview. I want to talk about some of the challenges of development. You know, building an open world game by yourself is quite the task, and there's been some encouraging comments and also some like, yeah, you're kind of crazy. It's a big task, and hopefully we don't go the way of so many MMOs. I don't plan to be the WoW killer if there ever could be one, but that's where my inspiration comes from. I want to recreate a WoW-esque experience with a new story and a new world, but familiar gameplay, but with a twist, with my own interpretation and my own creative license to do what I want. And so that is what I set out to do. I set out to just make a game that I want to play. And who am I? Well, I'm a game developer for 20 years. I have a lot of experience. I've done stuff with flight simulators to game design and virtual reality and web design, and I've been all over the digital sector. But video games are the passion, you know. That's what I got into this industry for. I'm also a father of 5 kids, and so there's not a lot of free time in my life between me and my wife and our kids and all the soccer and gymnastics and cheerleading and after-school programs. There's not a lot of time to build games. So most of my development tends to happen between kind of these hours right now, 11 p.m. till 1 in the morning, burning the midnight oil. And that's what we're going to do. Let me be right back. I'm going to close my door behind me so we have some ambiance in here. Be right back. Dun, dun, dun. Now we are in the game creator studio. All right, so Tales of Agartha is being developed in the Unity engine, which may or may not be a great choice, but I have a lot of experience in this engine. I've been building with it for, let's see, 15 years or so. More than 15 years. Since about 2008. So, yeah, long time. And let's just dive in. That's enough. Nobody cares about me. Let's just dive into the game. A little bit of a rant there, but here we go. Oh, see, I already found a bug as I'm previewing the system. So we have 4 races, which I have previously discussed, but they didn't have the 3D character previews. We now have full 3D character previews and a animated 3D world background, and that is for the create character screen. We have a male and a female version. Every time you update a toggle, it will randomize the appearance. So let's just start at the top. Human male, probably the most popular option in pretty much every game. Anytime there is a open world fantasy style game, humans just, even though you have all these other crazy races, humans are always the most popular. Why? Well, because we're humans and we want to make characters that look like ourselves. So if I wanted to make myself, I would first need to be bald. Yep. Bye-bye hair. My beard isn't quite as glorious as that anymore these days, but let's see if they got a smaller beard. See, I'm kind of limited on my options. Maybe that'll do. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, the idea is there are sliders. You can change your beard. You can change your hair. Let's go for the Viking look. And then you have hair color. Change your hair color, that'll change your eyebrows, the beard, and the hair. And so that's pretty cool. It's intuitive, it's color-coded, so you kind of know exactly what you're going to get. And then we have all of the different shades of coffee, because we as a people, we are not black and white. We're just all different shades of coffee. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Some got creamer and some don't, but we're all just coffee. Anyway, so you've got all your skin tones here. Typical human ones. We're not going too extreme on the fantasy stuff, but more to come. But that's a good starting point to get a good palette there to start from. We've got this Viking-looking Nordic dude right now. So I am a human. I clicked it and it rearranged. I might tone back the randomization, because even if I'm already selected and I'm noticing a bug, if I select human again, it regenerates, which may not be what you want. But yeah, that's iterative development. This is a work in progress, and things are very much in a whip stage, so that's fine. Anyway, once we've got our guy, we will go. Let's give him the big beard. We will select a, let's see. Oh, that's good. Selecting classes does not rearrange your character. So that's intended. That's working. I do need to fix that other bug. Anyway, we have a bunch of classes, which we can get into in a little bit. I've discussed them in a previous video. If you want to hear about them, go check out that video. It's out there, and it is available. So, let's see. I didn't even check. Am I live? Yes, I am live. We are live on YouTube, everybody. Thanks for watching. All 0 of you. I mean, actually, I have 1 viewer. Myself, in my own tab. That's cool. This will be saved on the channel. You can go back and watch it. I'm starting to build this channel from nothing. I literally launched this thing 2 months ago now. Like, New Year's Eve. Literally at midnight, I launched this channel. So it's been 2 months. We've had pretty good growth, getting our subscribers and our view count up there. And I'm just going to kind of keep chipping away, try to build a little bit of a fan base for this game. It's honestly, it's like a year to 2 years away. So like it's far away from release, but I do want to get it out there in a public way very soon. Anyway, I'm rambling a lot. Let's give this guy a name. How about Strombard? That is a good, strong name. Pardon my voice a little bit. I'm getting over a cold the last few days. Anyway, so character creator. You can go in, you can generate your random characters. We got humans, we got elves, we got noblins, And we have the Fallen. The Fallen is very temporary. They're not actually just going to be skeletons. They're actually going to be kind of a corrupted human race. They're more human than anything, but they are corrupted. But I had this skeleton model, and I decided to just kind of use it temporarily. And it works. You can run around as a skeleton, and it's cool. But he's very much stand-in, so he has no customization yet, because that just was not important. Then we have the Noblins. They have skin colors that range from red, orange, yellow, and green, so kind of all warm colors. And then they have lots of options. And I think it's a good time to... We have a zoom in button. Wow, how amazing. Not that cool, but a lot of games actually don't let you zoom in. You kind of are stuck like determining what your character looks like from out here, but I wanted to have a toggle so we can zoom in, we can get close. It's on a very intuitive turntable. You just click anywhere on the screen and spin your mouse and it will work. So lots of hairstyles. Excuse me. I'm not used to talking so much. Here we go. Lots of different hairstyles. Let's find one that's cool. Kind of like that. Beard. Yeah, let's give him that big bone. Pick a cool color. Maybe a fire hair. Let's make him like yellow and fire. It's kind of weird looking. Maybe green. Ooh, that's cool. Maybe yellow. Ooh, yellow. That's so ugly. You so ugly, bro. Anyway, so you can see you've got quite a bit of character customization. We even have ears for this particular model. All of these features are kind of being built out one by one, so some have more customization than others, and that's just kind of all work in progress. But just to show you, I think he has some of the most built out sliders. So you got ear options, which is great. Let's go with the earrings. We also even have noses, so you can go to the side view. You can see big old goblin nose, or maybe, let's see, something in the middle, like that. That looks good. Anyway, so I like that. I think that looks nice. We'll zoom out. We'll go ahead and create this guy. Let's call him, I don't know, Cragrog. That's always a good name. So we've got Cragrog, the Noblin male. Make him a sorcerer, a mercenary, or an engineer. And I'll dive into the classes here in a little bit. I just want to finish kind of showing off this character creation screen, because this was a huge thing to create, and it took me like 2 weeks to finish this. And it has so much functionality. It's all being saved into like serialized data file. Once you have your selection, you have a valid name, it gets serialized, it's saved on a database, and it's all really working the way that it should. There are no smoke and mirrors here. It is actually live on a database right now. Excuse me. All right. Anyway, that's a good name. Let's go ahead and create them. So as you can see, he gets created. He is now on the character selection screen. Oh, we made this guy earlier. Elfish. It's kind of like an elf, so he's elfish. But oh, I heard my headphones beeping at me. That's not good. I don't want my stream to go down while I'm talking. Plug those in so they don't lose battery. Anyway, let's load up Cragrog. We're going to just dive in and enter world. After a quick demo, I will come back and show you a few more things, and then we'll jump into the other topics I wanted to discuss. But there he is. There's the guy we just made with his cool hair, his bone necklace, and we're in this tropical jungle island in the desert. I did warn you, I was getting over a bit of a sickness. Probably not a great time to live stream, because my throat is It's kind of scratchy now that I'm talking quite a bit, which is a little bit annoying right now. Anyway, this guy's here, so let's do something real quick. I've already created a separate stable build. I'm going to go ahead and launch it. So here is a separate instance build, and I created this development toolkit, this test account. It kind of simulates as if I was a unique user, so I can spin up these, let's see, I can spin up these like test accounts and create characters and connect them and sync them in the world, make sure all my networking and character syncing and sync vars and all that are working. So this is a brand new account. He is on the US East Coast Atlantis. One nice thing is all the server selection is just right here. You can just literally quickly sync and drop. And so I'll show you how that works right now. Let's create a new character. Let's create this weirdo. Call him Weirdo. Whatever, he's got a random class. He's a mercenary. His name's Weirdo. That's what he looks like. So now he exists on this US East Coast Atlantis. If I were to switch to Avalon, which is another server name, let's create a female elf. That's pretty cool. Let's give her pink hair, maybe purple hair. That looks nice. Call her Feywind. That's a good name. She's a warden. And there we go. So now you can see this has its own character list. If I were to switch servers, go to Atlantis, he has his own list as well. And let's just create one more. That kind of looks like an avatar. Let's make him blue. Oh, I don't have the swatches updated yet. That's fine. Let's just call him Avatar. And there we go. So we've got we've got Weirdo and we've got Avatar. So these two characters are on this server. If I switch back, there's that one I created. And so it's all persistent. All the data is synced and saved on different servers. And this was a big part to get working. It was huge. And so there we go. And so again, this is like, imagine one person's account. All right, and so we're on test account slot 2. If I go to test 1, this is like a brand new user. This is really a development tool. This is not something in the game, but in early development, I needed a way to simulate dozens of people creating characters and kind of spamming the database and seeing how all the API calls hold up to all of those loads and saves. And so let's just create another one. Let's create a skeleton. We don't have one yet. Let's call him Necro. Necro Dude. One thing about my system is you're actually allowed to have 2 capital letters, and the second capital letter can be anywhere in the name. And so that's something different. You can't have 3. If I do an extra third one, you'll say max 2. So it's invalid. But if Necro Dude is valid, we will create, and it actually stores that way. So I always thought it was kind of limited when you just have like the first letter capital. So I wanted to give players 2 capital letters, and you can do some creative things with that. Maybe it could lead to inappropriate... I don't know. I'm going to have to blacklist and whitelist a bunch of stuff, I'm sure. But I'm trying to give people options to do fun stuff. You could be Malcolm X, I suppose, if you wanted, or whatever. There's a lot of possibilities, so there you go. Cheers to that. That's just apple juice, YouTube. I don't know if it matters, but that's apple juice. All right. So now we got Necro Dude. He is on Atlantis. If we switch to another one, let's just create one more. Let's create a little Noblin girl. Any look will do. There you go. That's cute. Little Princess Leia hair. Let's see. Let's just call her Princess. She is and if I hit accept, I didn't select a class, so I've got a lot of these like warning messages and a lot of this logic built in. The thing about game design and intuitive user interfaces is that if it works, it's not that inspiring. It's like, okay, good job, you made something that works. And that's the idea, is you want there to be like zero friction. You want it to work the way you expect, and if you make an intuitive interface that flows with the way people expect, then it won't seem remarkable because it just works. And so that's the idea, is to make a unremarkable user interface that behaves the way you expect. So there you go, Princess. She is created, and again, we can see we are on Avalon. Switch back to Atlantis, and if I switch back to account slot 2, which was the one we just made, you can see the data is still stored and still saved between all of our characters. So the infrastructure is very robust. It's kind of like a player key, then a server key, then character key, then appearance key, and there's like these tiered layers that the data is structured, kind of like a user account, then your server list, then your character list per server list, then your appearance data per character per server list per user list. And so there's like this parent-child relationship of the way I've layered the data, because there's like I don't want to go too much of like a tutorial. I mean, maybe people are interested in how game design works, but this is not meant to be a tutorial. It's just an explanation. There's like a generic prefab. There's like a default body of each character, and then we're just swapping out appearances, swapping out hair, swapping out the hair material, the skin material, the ears. And so there's all those options are then saved into like an appearance data file that it loads the default model, and then like within one frame, so it looks instant. You don't really see it as a user. It happens very fast on awake, like it's like a one frame load. It loads in all those body parts. So that's kind of how the system works, and it's cool. So anyway, let's go to Atlantis, which is where this guy is running around. And we will join, Atlantis. Let's just join with our elf. Another thing right now is this loading page is like a development loading page. I have this server host option, which is my own dev tool, but you'll just have this click to begin your adventure button as a user. And you can see he spawned right there. And here we go. We've got 2 characters loaded in our world, and we're all networked together. I can run over here, and then you can come follow me. There we go. And so just to kind of keep this test going, live demo, let's see if we can absolutely crush my computer right now. I am going to load a 3rd instance of the game. I am now a hacker, a botter, multi-bots, and let's load Necro Dude, which is on another account in the Atlantis server. Live demo. F it, we'll do it live. What was that from? Bill. What was that guy's name? I don't know. Some movie. Anyway. Bill O'Brien? I don't know. I think that's wrong. There we go. So we've got our skeleton guy. You can kind of see me running into the screen on my other players, and so the input, look at that. The frame rate is really good. We're syncing pretty seamlessly, and this is all on one computer, so there's a slight performance hit, but as you can see, starting to feel like an MMO. Just to kind of prove the point of the customization, let's load another character again. We'll go to save slot 3, which is not in use yet. And so we already have, whoops, come back. We already have a elf and a noblin. Let's just load another noblin with a different look, just to show you that, the customization is actually working. Let's call him Nobby. He will be a mercenary. Let's make him an engineer. Random look is fine. Maybe we'll randomize him. That's good. Pink and orange. Super handsome. And Nobby, let's enter the world. All right, loading screen. And there we go. All of our friends are now here. You can see we've got two very custom, very unique Noblin characters. Currently, they all have the same body shape. That's actually going to be in phase 2 of this character customization. I'm actually going to allow users to tap into what are called blend shapes, and you'll be able to kind of make them fatter or skinnier or stronger. Different things like that. Let's see. I'm actually going to do something I probably shouldn't, but I'm just going to go for it. I wonder if I can do this on the fly without breaking everything. Let's see. If they're out of order, it's not going to work. There you go. But the torso is not going to work. Anyway, we'll save the blend shape for another demo. But, yeah, it's cool. So let's go back to our skeleton. Anyway, you can see the networking is working. Character syncing is working. It really starting to feel like an open world MMO. Just because I'm crazy. Let's do another one. My performance is actually really good that I can actually handle 5 instances of this game. Now I got a full group. I can go multi-box a dungeon. So let's create one more character. There you go. That's like pretty cool looking, dude. Excuse me. This is I don't know, Ragnar. Let's call this guy Ragnar. Actually, I just saw a bug. The class options for the human were actually wrong. I have to go back and look at that. I'm gonna look at this recording. Timestamp it. What's my timestamp? I don't even know. Holy smokes, has it been 27 minutes already? Wow. Live stream. We're going to go long. It's going to be probably a couple hours. Let's just send it. Alright, let's enter the world with this guy just to see how much performance one computer can handle. Granted, I am on a super beefy, like, $4,000 high-end workstation computer with a 5080 and all the bells and whistles. Yeah. So anyway, look at this. We got another guy in our crew. We can all run around and go for a run, do stuff together. Oh, I can start to see the performance is starting to hit with this many machines. But you get the idea. The game is like fundamentally the infrastructure is there. And that alone is such a huge feat of accomplishment. Pat myself on the back. Good job, buddy. So, yeah. Full server database structure, customizable characters, dedicated servers. Huge, huge. I could never be in the media because, the scratchy throat. What do you do when you have a scratchy throat? It's terrible. Apologies. Nobody wants to watch somebody coughing on screen, but, it's Friday night. Finally had some free time, and it's kind of like the only time I get to occasionally just try to go live and do something different for the channel. So let's dive into our other topics. So that's kind of a new feature preview. Actually, now let me close all this. And as you close, you'll see they delete. Bye-bye. Everybody's gone. They logged out. Eventually, I could have like a 20-second delay or something. Yeah. So we're going to talk about bridging the gap here in a little bit. And that means, like, yes, this system works, but I have this whole, like, character screen and action bar and inventory system and spellbook system and quest log system, but it's all broken. And that's part of the development is that when I started implementing the server infrastructure, I kind of broke everything else. And so I have this like block A here, which is all this like character creation login, and then I have like block C, and that's like all the systems I originally created when I first started the game, because that was like more fun to prototype, was like loot ejection and randomized loot boxes and collecting herbs and the equipment system and all the gear and the armor and the stat system and the leveling system and the experience system and the spell casting and particles. And that whole module is like block C. And I need to build block B that takes those systems and makes them all talk together. Because right now, all I can do is create that character, zone into the world, and then run around like a chicken with my head cut off. None of the looting and all that is like broken right now. So I'll show a preview of that here in a minute, and then we'll talk about bridging the gap and the hurdles of development. This whole module is on like a branch of my main build, and so eventually I need to kind of merge all that code, and it is crazy because there's like a dozen scripts that are fighting each other, and so it's a big job to do. But once I kind of get this block A to block C, make that block B, so I'm thinking of it in my head. Once I get that module where the systems with the network infrastructure are now talking to each other and it's all server authoritative, then the game will feel like we're there. And like that's like a month away. Like that's like the end of March is my goal, to have all of the systems I previously created being able to talk to now my custom characters and all of the server database stuff. Once that's there, it's like we're in like pre like alpha, like, and then it just becomes like a production effort. It's like, all right, now I got to go build a giant world. I got to go make 1,000 quests. I got to make 1,000 swords. I got to make 1,000 helmets. I got to populate the world with herbs and treasure chests and monsters and raid bosses and dungeons, and that's like D, E, F, G, H, I, L, M, N, O, P, Q, X, Y, Z. So all those blocks are way down the chain. But if we can get A, B, C done, we'll have a huge core infrastructure for the game, and that's kind of how I'm thinking about it in my head. So anyway, let's get out of here. And what did I want to show? I wanted to show, what is our topics? Yeah, the development hurdles and challenges. That's topic 2. It's kind of what I just touched on. Actually going to show you an old branch build of all the systems that we're working with, the armor and the projectiles and all that. In case you haven't seen it, there are dedicated videos on the channel about these. Go back and watch them, but I'll give a quick overview of everything I've already like previously designed, and now I just need to bridge the gap between the character creation and database with all of these interactable systems. So let's get it. 1 minute here while I load it up. While I'm waiting for that to load, I can talk a little bit more about short-term goals. Ooh, bright white screen, long-term goals. All right, that is on the wrong screen. Let's put this over on this screen. And now you can see we are back to my original game. And when I first started building this game, I didn't have like a login screen or a menu. I literally just had my like 3D world scene, and the character was just in here, and I would just hit play. Hopefully this branched, and it would just load. It would load my character with all his gear. It would load all my armor, and the character would be in this world, and he would have all this stuff that he could do. This was like my demo beach. And so, quick overview of this. Is we have this equipable armor. So we've got a couple helmets, and you can just literally right-click in the inventory. They all have tooltips. The tooltips are all dynamically driven. They have different stats, and all the stats actually work. And so all this system was pretty robust. Some of the helmets had different like visibility toggles. So like this helmet allows the player's beard to still show. So if I just like unequip it, you can see the hair. And if I equip the helmet, it actually hides the hair, but it keeps the beard. Whereas this helmet, because it would have clipped, it actually has to hide the beard. And so each inventory item had like its own logic and customization on like toggles. And so then we had our sheath system. Let's see, let's go get ourselves a two-hander. Grab this two-handed weapon and this glaive. You just loot them. All the loot in this game is like actual 3D objects. You just run up to them and go loot them, and they go in your bag, and there they are. And so if I want this this like green sword, I can now have a two-hander and two one-handers, and the sheath basically cycles through. So the two-handed is unsheathed, and then the one-handers are unsheathed, and then both are all sheathed. If I swap my two-hander, like this rifle, you can see it's on his back in addition. And so this whole system like worked really good. We have this whole inventory system. We can loot boots and chest pieces. So let's see, that one's actually broken. We got gloves and legs and shoulders, and all that ends up in here. And all that works, and you can equip everything, and you can right-click from here to unequip, right-click to re-equip, and so that whole system works, and that's kind of your default guy. Let's put our helmet, all this gear back on. See, everything just works the way you'd expect. It's not really remarkable, but it's remarkable because it works the way you expect, and that's exactly what you want. And so this whole system, where I've got targeting, I've got these targetable tab target signs. These are all destructible. I actually don't have any spells yet, but if we go over here, we got skeleton. I can actually loot my spell books, and so this is a whole nother system. This is going to be like a speed run on all the systems in the game. So if I open my spell book, we can loot the fireball. Now we just created the fireball spell. It's in my spell book. I can drag it and equip it to my action bar. And so now I can actually, look at that. I can shoot a fireball at this thing. Does a little bit of damage. We've got floating damage numbers. Fireball's kind of weak. Let's see what else we got. We got the phaser bomb. We got the meteor impact. This is just something I was previewing, like maybe. So let me rephrase. All the spells in the game are like actual 3D objects that you discover. You'll either find them or collect them or get them as quest rewards or a boss drop. But the spells are kind of like inventory. Like the more spells you find, there will be rarity. So some spells are like legendary spells or epic spells or common spells. And so the spells you have are as much of an extension of your equipment as your actual gear. And so you'll have a player that maybe they beat that crazy raid boss and they got that epic spell, and they're one of the few players on the server that has that spell. Or maybe there's like a rare spell book in an ancient library that spawns once a week randomly. So only like one player on the whole server can have that spell per week. And so there'll be like really cool stuff like that I plan to do. Maybe there's a quest you have to go do, and when you finish it, you unlock the spell, and then you can collect it from the tornado. But anyway, all the spells are like, you know, ancient spell book or like a magic orb or like an ancient scroll. All these kind of like imbued objects, a rune or a crystal. And throughout the game, you'll discover different types of spells that are trapped in these objects. And as you collect them, they go into your spell book. Icy Rain and Blood Boil. And so I got a bunch of spells that I've actually pre-made. And now we can just drag them onto our bar. We can tab target. Oh, that one. That's funny. That one has the wrong animation playing. Let's see, what is phaser bomb? I remember. Oh, it's like something happening over there. All right, meteor impact. Let's see what that does. That sends in a meteor impact from up above. You can see spells all have cooldowns, whether it's a 1 second global cooldown or a 3 second cooldown. They're all kind of quick right now, just so I can play test, but the cooldown system works. And even if you have, like, let's say, duplicate spells, they all have to update together. And so that was like another bit of logic to solve. Let's see, Icy Rain. Oh yeah, destructible objects. You can see as I'm killing them, the objects are actually being destroyed. You can summon a meteor and an Icy Rain, and look at that, it's destroyed. It deselects, and so we've got all these spells. One more, boom, and it's destroyed. And so that's the spell system, that's the loot system, that's the gear system. We have a stash. So imagine you're in like a town, you go to your little town, you have a stash. You can grab all your stuff and throw it in here. Let's just fill up this top row, and then imagine you run across the world, and now you're in like another town, and there's another stash, and look at that. All your gear is instantly there. You can go grab it. And so the stash system was a whole thing to develop, and it works seamlessly. It's faster than email. No refresh. It's like instant. Put stuff in your stash, go to across the world, find another stash. It's all the same thing. So that's really cool. Then we had loot. So like these herbs, I can actually loot them. And as my test world, these herbs actually give like an insane amount of experience. So as you select them, you can see I'm actually leveling up. I'm currently at level 9. Let's see, let's grab a couple more. These actually all respawn too. Let's see if I can get enough to level up. Oh yeah, let's grab these ones. These are worth more. They respawn, level. Let's see, one more. Da-da-da. And the animation, the sound played, but the particle effect was missing. Anyway, small bug, and now he's level 10. The stats all increase. You have a primary stat, so every time you level or are about to level, you can select your primary stat, and that'll give you an extra +1 in that category when you level. So you can just leave your favorite stat there. That's one of the systems. So I built all these systems, like all the core things that an MMO would need. You got treasure chests. They throw out loot. It's kind of in this really nice physics pattern. The loot actually goes on the ground. It's not like a little loot box window. All the gear and stuff, it's like, I guess, Diablo style. So it's ejected out, and I think right now this just gives gold. And the gold is auto pickup on collision. And so this will throw out some loot. We'll get the gold. You can see as I collect the gold, my gold number goes up. And all that system's working. Let's see. I mean, we've done so many systems. Oh, we have a sprint system. So you can see right now, this is like my normal run speed. And if you look at this white bar, it has this little foot. If I hold the shift key, it actually allows me to start sprinting a little bit faster. And as I'm sprinting, I'm draining my stamina. And stamina is a stat in the game. And once I hit 0, it stops. Then if I let go of shift, there's like a 5-second regen, and then it will slowly regen. And the cool thing about stamina is you don't have to wait for it to fill. I can actually start using it as it becomes available. So I can do a little sprint, kind of like spam it a little bit, and so you'll learn to manage that. It's an actual stat. Each point of stamina equals 1 second of sprint. So as you get boots, which would have stamina, or enchantments, which would have stamina, the stamina, different from WoW, stamina is not your health. It's actually your endurance. Like how long can you sprint? And so that's the stamina system. That's cool. The health globes, that's pretty self-explanatory. I think I'm blocking one. Let me hide myself real quick so you can see the red and the blue health globes. Kind of taken from Diablo. It's like the way I describe this game, and I described this in my other like original video, is if you were to take like World of Warcraft, Zelda, and Diablo and make a game, like that's what I'm trying to make. Like those are my 3 favorite like franchises of all time. And so there's certain things of each one, like the fun, colorful, bright, whimsical world, the great adventure of like Zelda, but the MMO style of Warcraft, World of Warcraft, and then like some of the stuff with Diablo that like I like seeing like the loot just as like actual objects on the ground. You go up and click them; they're not like in a little loot box, so it feels like very practical. Like, oh, this sword is on the ground. I can just go pick it up and put it in my backpack or put it on my character, and all that works, and it's very like it's satisfying and it feels good. So stuff like that is really cool. Oh yeah, we do have. This was kind of where I left off with like this whole system before I broke off into my character creation screen. Was I started implementing enemies, and right now he's just static. He animates, but he doesn't do damage, but he does take damage, so I can actually hit him, and his floating health bar works. And so we'll just spam him. Boom, 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 boom. And eventually he will die, hopefully. And he dies. And so that was the beginning of like my combat system. After I bridged the gap of A to B to C and connect all these systems I've created so far to the character login system and the equipment system, then I will come back to combat. But I just started to dabble in that, and I kind of created these death events, and so that felt good. I mean, my combat system, my spells, they're so snappy and fast. Like, they just feel good. Oh, wait, we have, like, force fields. We've got, like, shields we can have. So we've got, like, a lot of different things. What is this one? I think the healing heals. What's this one? Oh yeah, this is like an energy shield. So I've created like a lot of different effects, stuff that's going to be in the game. It's all kind of test, but yeah, it all works. And so this little test bed island, this was like my test beach for a long time. Like this was where the game began. I started just building all the systems that you would expect in an MMO, and so this all exists in like one branch of my project. And then the whole character creation screen is another branch. And over the next month of March, it's going to be like a major like refactoring and script merging and database merging. And eventually these will all talk to each other. And we'll have this version as the final version with all the player networking. Right now, this has no player networking. It's essentially like a one-player game. And that's fine. Sometimes you build things to prototype it. For me, like the first thing I made was like the camera. Like I needed a camera that felt intuitive, like you can orbit, and then while you're running, you can actually lock onto the back, and so it's very quick. The jump feels good, like the camera feels good, the player movement feels good, and that's where I started was like player movement, because that's what you do 100% of the time is run around the world. And so started with the player movement in the world and then worked up from there. Inventory, then the character window, then the spell book, and then the action bar. And so each little system is like its own module thing, and it's really cool. We've also got like floating labels. These are potions actually. So if I loot potions, they have a little bit of bounding box issues with the looting. Sometimes it's tricky, but they actually go into their own tab. And these 4 squares right here are actually your potion buttons. They're separated by this green line, which is an energy bar, which is for another system that is not done, so I'm not even going to talk about it, but something cool. It's like, as you take more damage, that bar will actually raise. And so when you use a health potion, you'll actually get a bigger benefit the more damage you took. Some kind of system like that, or maybe when it fills up all the way and you use a potion, you'll get like a double bonus. There's a lot of ideas, but I wanted to have this like extra energy bar. It's not in use yet, but I have a lot of ideas of like something creative I can do with it. And so anyway, these 4 spots are dedicated just for consumables. And there's a consumable tab, which is separate from your main inventory. There's also a quest tab, which is also separate. So I wanted to make sure all that stays organized for the player. You don't want quest items and consumables all mixed in with your vendor gear. So that's where we're there with the development hurdle, is getting this version of the game to merge with my character creation version of the game, and that has its own challenges, but we'll get there. My goal is like the end of March to have that. And then like my goal for April. So let's talk about the next topic, short-term, long-term goal. Yeah, my short-term goal is by the end of March, next month, I want to have this version of the game merged into my database and character creation and servers and all of that, so that the multiplayer networking all works and they can all play and do this kind of stuff together with multiple players on screen. Right now, it all works with one player, but anyway, I explained that. So that's my short-term goal. The second short-term goal is another month later, kind of like a 1 month milestone, is by the end of April, and this is big. I've already put in my application for my Steamworks account. I've created the business side of it and the developer side, and so we're gonna have a Steam. This game will be launched through Steam, and we're gonna create the wish list and actually have a like open like pre-alpha weekend, maybe sometime in April, where players can kind of do like a stress test, like get in, make a character, run around the world, do a couple like starter quests, kill a couple mobs, get some loot, see how the game feels, and benchmarks with like multiple connections, different places, and cloud servers. And so that's April. Excuse me 1 second again. Jeez. Sorry, I forgot to turn the mic back on. Dead air, dead air. No dead air on the radio. Anyway, so that's like my March and April goals, is to bridge the gap and then get like a pre-alpha version with that limited run in this like test area, this little test island. I'll eventually spread out the herbs and spread out treasure chests and add some fun stuff and different things players can do. I'll have a bunch of enemies you can kill and some quests you can do, and just like very simple like pre-alpha, for anybody who wants to be like an early adopter. Other short-term goals, I plan on, this is like self-funded, self-created. The goal is actually to become a full-fledged studio, hire people, make this game bigger and better. Obviously, it's an insurmountable task for one person to do, even though like I am very left brain, right brain. Like I have full knowledge of like programming and art. Like I live in both worlds. I can create art, characters, animation, props, environments just as easily as I can code and design and engineer pretty in-depth like networking infrastructure, databases, and world systems and inventory systems. Like I can do a lot myself, but I don't have the time to do it all myself. And so eventually we'll either through Kickstarter or Patreon or just maybe I'll use my own life savings and we'll hire some people and try to make this thing real, build this up, get it into a production mode. Right now, I explained this in other videos, like I'm just building the factory that will allow me to build the game. It's like if you want to build cars, I've used this analogy, you don't just like build a car. I mean, yeah, if you're like one person, you can go build a car. But if you want to build multiple cars, you should build a factory that allows you to build cars, because it's going to be easier the second, fourth, fifth, 100th time. And so what this is like my test bed. Like this is like a test beach of all the systems, and once they're finished, it just becomes like a full production effort. It's like, okay, now just like spread the flowers out, make 100 different flowers, spread them through the world, scatter your treasure chests, make a bunch of quests, add a bunch of enemies, add a bunch of bosses, add dungeons, make the world bigger, make it larger, add this system. And it's just like production mode, but like the core systems are there, and then you're just doing all the repetition to make more weapons, make more armor, build up the questing tier and the leveling experience. And so once I've kind of built the core factory myself, which I feel like I'm capable of doing start to finish, like there's been a couple features that have been like made me want to quit and give up. But eventually I've figured them out and I've powered through, and I've been able to solve pretty much every development challenge that I've hit so far. And 3D art, like I'm just using Senti assets. They're a pretty awesome publisher. They have all these low poly art, and it's like really high quality professional stuff. It's optimized. It runs really well. And for me, like art doesn't matter right now. Like this actually matches very close to like the final art style I want, like fun and chunky and stylized and bold. Like I don't want to get stuck in that Unreal Engine hyper realistic just noise that so many games do. I think they all look the same and they're just boring, they're not memorable. And so having a style that's a little more simplified, I think helps you actually stand out in the end. So for me, replacing art, it's trivial. Retexturing, rematerializing, retopology, like that's fine. Like I'm not intimidated by any. That's just a production effort. But right now, all my focus is just literally on programming, making the core systems work, making the game feel fun. All these things: exploration, the frame rate, performance, like server database, architecture. And so that's where I'm at. That's like my spiel. Let's see. Long-term goal. Well, I want this game to be huge. I want it to be a success. I want it to be a place that you want to log into every day to go play with your friends and make new friends and go on adventures and explore something new and find a captivating story. I've actually been developing like practically like this game for 6 months, but in my mind for 10 years. I've had this vision of this game for 10 years. I have all the classes like outlined pretty in depth. I have the story, the world building. There's a whole narrative. There's key locations and characters. Like I have all of that in my head. And so I'm not just like building a game randomly. Like I actually have like a target direction I'm trying to go. And so I'm using stand-in art now, but like these places are going to matter at some point, and like the worlds and locations are tied in. I have an entire world map of what the game looks like, and it's come along pretty far. So I think world building is like one of those things that's where you should start. Like honestly, is world building, and then there's narrative, there's the conflict, there's story, there's factions, there's conflicts, there's alliances, and so all of that exists in this game, and we'll tap into it more. Again, it's set kind of in like a fictional false history of Earth, an ancient Earth that is long forgotten when magic and dragons and all that actually existed. But that's the game. That's where I'm at. The last topic, which I'll just cover briefly, is monetization. This is not going to be a pay-to-win game. I hate everything about the current modern game industry. Like I hate where it went. I'm an 80s baby. I grew up in the arcades. I played games heavily, PC gamer through the 90s and early 2000s. And back then, like the games were just it was such a different. What it was video games back then were made by dorks and nerds. And like the white collar Wall Street bros were not part of the gaming industry. Like we were the ones that were made fun of in school for liking Marvel comics and nerdy stuff and Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. Like that was me. Like Pokemon, like all these games, like that's where I lived. And back in those time it was raw because these things were made by nerds and they were made with passion. And then up until I don't know, maybe the mid 2000s, the 2010s is when like big money Wall Street started seeing like, hey, video games are like $1 billion industry. And then they start gobbling up these studios. And then you start having like the suits dictate release dates instead of creatives. And then you have delay after delay because now you're pushing for publisher to get the game out for a release date for Christmas holiday or whatever. And so the game industry got taken over by these like executive people that don't play the games. They're not passionate about games. They just see the dollar signs. And then they start adding these in-game shops and microtransactions and like as if like buying the game, giving them your money to buy the game, and then even like MMOs paying that monthly subscription, as if that wasn't enough. Now it's like they have to like try to capture more money from you at every second you play the game. Like, it is so toxic. My son, oh, I'm going on a tirade now, but it's necessary because I need you all to understand where I come from and what I stand for. I am a gamer first. I will not sell this company out to executives that just want to make a dollar. There will be no microtransactions and like pay to win mechanics. Like, you're going to buy the game for a value, reasonable video game value, like probably 40, $50 to buy the game, and then probably just a monthly subscription to pay for the servers and the infrastructure to keep it running. That's my monetization model. Like, I may make cutesy things for appearance only. Like, I could make, but I don't want the stuff you buy in the shop to be cooler than like the high-end raid gear. Like, I don't want some player to just spend $20 and all of a sudden he looks cooler than the guy that's been raiding for 6 months. Like, I don't want that. So I may allow some form of cosmetic, maybe themed or something, but like, I really don't want to, but I might. But I don't. There will be a threshold where it's like you're not going to be able to get the coolest mount in the game by dropping dollars. You're gonna have to play the game. You're gonna have to earn it. This is a no participation trophy game. That's my generation. Like, I was reading an article about like 90s gamers versus Gen Z. And it's just like the games we played were different. Like, you played Mario and it was like finger crunch breaking frustration. You had one level, you either played it, you got 3 lives, you either play it, you play it, and you play it, and play it, and play it, and you die 100 times until you finally beat it. And there's that like reward. But now it's like games are just constantly triggering dopamine rewards with loot boxes and treasure chests and skin packs and sticker packs, and like every time you click the screen you get a reward, and it's like, Roblox is the worst. My son plays it, and like, I always wanted a gamer son, but somehow my classical training on my SNES Mini failed, and he plays these toxic, terrible games like Roblox. They're so awful. Oh, so like hyper stimulating, obnoxious. No offense if people are fans of that game, but that's not me. That's not my generation. The YouTubers for those games are like, do you even breathe, dude? You're just like, it's like they don't stop talking. Anyway, that's my tirade on monetization. This game is a game made by a gamer for classical gamers. No suits, no crazy investors are getting involved. This game will be owned and maintained by people that have passion for what video games can be, what they used to be, and what they will be again. We need to get out of this microtransaction culture that we've created. It's just so awful for games, as if buying the game wasn't enough. Then you got to buy the battle pass, and then you got to buy the battle pack for the battle pass, and then you got to buy the add-on skin for the battle pass for the battle pack, and it's like, enough. Anyway, enough is enough. I think that's a good place for me to go ahead and stop. This was a long stream and a lot of talking for me. My throat is getting very scratchy. Anyway, hope a few people watch this. I have no idea. I was probably just talking into a speaker box of darkness, but this is the game, Tales of Agartha. We've made a lot of progress. We've got a lot of things to do, but we're going to get there, and I'm motivated about this more than anything I've ever been in my life, so stay tuned for like a Patreon. I want to give people some behind-the-scenes look and exclusive access to stuff. And then the Steam page, the wish list, all that will be coming soon. March and April are going to be big months for this game, and we're cruising, man. We're almost at 300 subscribers. As of recording, 295. So if we can get to 300, that will be huge, and we'll just keep on cooking, bro. We're cooking. So much aura. God, Gen Z. Anyway, bye-bye, guys. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Straight off the cuff, no edits, rough and raw, just the way I want it to be.